First tally round today. Aww.
That might hit, dude. That might hit. Oh, it hit!
Oh my god!
Why do you play Battlefield? What got you into the franchise? Was it a certain game? A certain moment? Were you watching some Battlefield gameplay on YouTube and decided that it might be the game for you? Or did somebody recommend it to you?
Dust on the jet. Lovely.
This video is going to focus on a few things. Firstly, thank you very much for 150,000 subscribers. I've been planning this video for a couple of weeks, just waiting for the sub count to tick over 150, and then I was going to maybe post this with a few of my favourite moments from over the past 5 years or so. Now, I've included gameplay from all over, really. Every Battlefield game I've been playing and recording footage from on PC. There's a few clips in there that you will have seen before, maybe a few ones that you're seeing for the first time, and they are really my best moments, my favourite moments that I have clipped from all those Battlefield games. We're going to be taking a look though at what got me into Battlefield. What really hooked me for the first time, where did I start, and where do I think I'm going to go with this game into the future. For me, my first Battlefield was Bad Company 2 on the Xbox 360. A friend lent me the game and I played the campaign, not really knowing what the franchise was about. I hadn't played any Battlefield games before that, and honestly, I was the sort of gamer that enjoyed FIFA and Call of Duty. That was that for Bad Company 2 really, and little did I know I'd missed out on one of the best games ever made. Then Battlefield 3 released, and this one made more of a splash in terms of the marketing and reach. It was one that caught my attention, and it was a game that I had to have. I played a lot of Call of Duty on Xbox, as I said. I used to really enjoy Call of Duty 4, Black Ops, Modern Warfare 2. I played all those games and really did enjoy playing them on console. Call of Duty was fast paced and it had all the kill streaks, loadouts and perks that I enjoyed, but Battlefield 3 seemed to offer so much more. I got hold of it, I played the campaign, as was my usual approach to those sort of games back in the day, and I was amazed. I'd never seen a game look so good. The destruction, the environments, the weapon sounds, the voice lines and the vehicles, it had the lot. Playing multiplayer was also more rewarding than in virtually anything I'd ever done in Call of Duty, and that's not to say that COD isn't a great franchise, it is. It sells so many copies, millions of players play it, but Battlefield 3 just did something for me that Call of Duty never could. I jumped in a helicopter, flew into battle, probably crashed into trees and every building along the way, but it just felt awesome. It got me hooked. And ever since then, I've been playing every Battlefield game for hundreds and hundreds of hours. I even started a YouTube channel in 2015 to share some of my tips and tricks for Battlefield 4. The real thing that got me hooked was the improvement I made personally as a player. I spent time learning the maps, working out what weapons suited my playstyle, and unlocking attachments. I used to do this in Call of Duty as well. I'd have my favourite maps, my favourite loadouts, I'd play with maybe some friends and I'd just work out what I wanted to do with that game. I specialised in MBTs at first, in tanks on Battlefield 3, trying to get high score per minute and protecting infantry around me. Now, I wasn't great in Battlefield 3 on console, I was just messing around in all honesty, but I did see a bit of improvement, and overall it was great fun. Moving on to Battlefield 4, again I did focus in those tanks. Of course I played infantry and all sorts, but if I join a game and I find my team needed a bit of help, there was a tank sitting there in the spawn screen, I'd jump in and I'd go on as much of a kill streak as I could. I'd also bump into people in game in Battlefield 4 who'd ask to squad up, and that is where the community aspect of the game really helped. When I did move to PC in late 2014, I was a big fan of Battlelog, and adding players was a great feeling. You got to make friends, build platoons, you could chat to people, and putting together a really strong squad that would make a difference in any game you faced was something I enjoyed a lot. Following that, I joined some TeamSpeak communities, and later I used Discord to create my own community, and well, the rest is really history. All throughout this I was learning, improving, watching videos on how to get better, asking friends about their favourite loadouts, and most importantly, I was playing Battlefield, a game that I really enjoyed. I guess this will be the story for most people watching this video. Whether you started with Bad Company 2 or BF3, or whether you started way before that, with Battlefield 1942 or maybe BF2, it doesn't really matter where you came into the franchise. I think it's the same for a lot of people. They wanted more than what other FPS games offered, or maybe they just wanted to experience Battlefield, a game that did give you those massive all-out war battles with vehicles and infantry. I think the question though a lot of people will be asking is, if so many people love Battlefield, why don't more people play it? Yes, if you look at the numbers, Battlefield games tend to sell very, very well, but in terms of players, in terms of retention, in terms of those players coming back to play more and more, I don't really think it's that popular when compared to Call of Duty. I think it might be down to a few things, such as the teamwork required to succeed in Battlefield and the difficulty you can have as a new player stuck on your own. It does appeal to a casual audience, which is fine, many games do, but if you get thrown in at the deep end and there's a load of issues with the game, and maybe it's one of those games that you'd have more fun if you were with a squad of good players, you might just think, well, I'm not going to play it today, I'm going to go and play something else. That's not to say team games don't work. Many games that require team play and coordination are incredibly popular. Some of the best FPS games require that. I just think Battlefield maybe makes it a little bit more difficult for those new players to get into the game. Maybe on BF4 you'd find these KD kickers on certain servers where it's designed for noobs, but that isn't really designed for new players, it's designed for players that aren't really very good. And that's quite a difference really. Coming into a game, if you've got the mindset that you want to improve, it can do you some good to be thrown into a game with good players, but I think it's just getting that balance right. As I said, Battlefield more recently has definitely become a little bit more new player friendly, Battlefield 1 being a good example of that, but as a consequence you don't have that depth in some areas. Don't get me wrong, you can easily play Battlefield on your own, and if you have the mindset that you just want to have fun or even try and improve and master weapons, there's a massive amount of fun to be had. I just think that they're kind of missing the best selling point for Battlefield right now with recent games, and that is the fact that it's a sandbox where you can go and do what you want, but if you really want to push and you really want to play and really improve, it's so accessible. And it doesn't matter what level you are, whether you're new to the game or whether you've been playing for 5,000 hours, you can all contribute to winning the match. For example, you could be a brand new player, you jump in, you don't really know what you're doing. The game could suggest that you could be the guy that takes the ammo and resupplies your teammates. A pretty mediocre task, but it can be rewarding. Maybe you're following round the best player on the server and you're reviving them, or you're helping them. Maybe you're the third seat in a tank that we had in BF3 and you're leveling up the tank whilst helping that tank crew. You see what I mean? There's a bit more than just jumping in and then maybe seeing, well, I'm not good enough for this and really struggling. There can be other aspects of the game that you can succeed at even if you're a brand new player. For me, I think that is how I really got into Battlefield, and that is how I got hooked. I wasn't that great, but I could still see the guy flying around in a helicopter and go, I want to learn how to do that, and then I'd go and learn how to do it. Or I'd type to them in chat, can you teach me something? Maybe I'd follow them around in this spectator cam and work out what they were doing, or look at some loadout videos on YouTube and think, well, that's how they're doing that, and then I'd go and try it in game. That's what Battlefield did for me. That is why it was so addicting. I would play every single day and get better at something and try and improve, and I still have a long way to go compared to some other players, and again, it is a hook to get back in because I know that there's always something that I need to learn. Let me know what you think of this down in the comments. Do you believe that Battlefield has been missing that in recent titles, or do you think it's still there? What do you think DICE could do in the future to maybe improve that player retention, to improve maybe the churn, they call it, players buying the game, joining and then leaving soon after? They figured that it was the TTK in Battlefield 5, but I think it maybe goes a little bit deeper than that, and it's about the core experience of Battlefield. What hooks you in? Why do you keep playing? And maybe why do you put the game down after all those hours? Thanks for watching, hopefully you enjoyed this bit of a ramble as I took a look back at some of my favourite moments in Battlefield games, and again, let you know where I started and where I think the game could go in the future and how they could improve those issues. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Mount, and then up here,
What the?
you guys
I'm
need to
vertical.
work your way up.
Holy shit! Holy shit! Are we doing it? Are we doing it?
I need to see this.